So to get started, what we need to do is cut this out. I like to just print it out. You know, I just put it on my copier and print it an extra little copy for myself so I can cut it. And we do have the pre-prints ready for this and some of you have ordered the pre-prints. But for this video, I'm going to just show you how to transfer the pattern. So I know y'all like your pre-prints. Me too. They're so much easier to deal with. A lot easier. But we'll be using the design today. And we'll transfer it. These are really cute. This is a wood block that I'm going to prepare because I'm going to be working on a piece of watercolor paper. And then when this is done, then I can glue it onto my wood block. So I'm going to prepare my wood block at the same time, just so you can get an idea of how to do that. Hi, Fran. So, okay. So let's just go ahead and seal our wood block. And I just like to use an all-purpose sealer. Joanne makes this great sealer. When I'm working over my etched pieces, I usually thin my sealer down with a little bit of water because I don't want my etching to fill in with sealer. But for this, I don't have to seal it down or water it down. I better shake it a little bit. I don't have to water it down because oh, my sister just got here. I can hear her out there. Because I, don't have etching on this. So I like to go ahead and seal the sides first. That way I can hold my block. This is just a little 4x4 block that will fit the design. We sell them here, or you can, make your own, whatever works best for you. Maybe you have a little box, a 4x4 box, something that might fit that design. I know some of you use like paper mache pieces that you glue your piece to. Basically, you can glue it to like any kind of wood or paper item. So I get all the edges done first. That way I can just hold my block in the middle, and it's just so much easier to do it that way. And then I'll do my front. Boy, it's hot here. We're feeling the heat in Western Washington today. It is hot. And I felt so bad. My niece last night spent the night because she's working for us between in her college break. She's working for us. So I felt bad for her because she went to bed before I even thought about it. And I was so tired. And she didn't even have a fan in our room. And here in Washington, we don't normally have air conditioning. I know we're a little nuts, but most of us don't because our hot season only lasts maybe a few days every year. And so we don't always get it. But there are some people that do have air conditioning, but a lot of us don't. So I felt bad because we usually put like a fan in the room and get it cooled down. And she went to bed and I didn't think about it until this morning. And then I was like, oh, oh man, it makes me feel bad. So we are cooling down her room right now. But how is everyone? How are you guys doing? We've had some exciting times around here. Our other daughter is working for us too, and she's working on social media. And if you notice the post that was happened yesterday, I didn't do that. She did that. She's going to be doing our social media. It's so cool. I was just so excited to see what she could do. I'm excited what she'll be doing in the future for us. So, but she brings over the baby, and I get to do Grammy time while she's over working. So that's been really fun. But we were worn out. Like we were just feeling like my back hurts, my knees hurt. A little tyke He's so cute. He's busy. He's a busy boy. So we got a little bit worn out yesterday. We're like, whoa, we haven't done this for a while. It's all good though. We're happy. Hopefully it'll keep us young. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. And then we have another daughter that is due here soon. So we're going to have another grandbaby on the way. It's grandbaby season. Cheryl, will there be more blocks in the series? Well, I'm going to be releasing the butterfly. We have a butterfly. It's kind of a little series of 3 different designs. It's a butterfly, and I think it's a pinwheel flower. Anyway, I'm going to be releasing that soon. I just have to do a little bit of work on that design before I release it. So that's coming. I know that, but I don't know. We might do more. Who knows? But we are getting closer to fall, so I'm like, we got to start thinking about fall. Hi, Gloria and Charmaine. She says, Grandies are the best. I know, Grandies are the best. They're so fun. Yes, you know about that, Michelle, right? Grandbabies are the best next to doggies. For sure. For sure. Okay, I'm going to get started on my watercolor paper piece while my block is drying. And I want to just put some espresso. This is the new paint tubes that Josiah is coming out with. So this is espresso. Love this color. It's a great background color. Getting big. Oh, your grandson's getting big. I'm just so excited because we haven't had grandbabies around us, and we just, talk on the phone and on FaceTime and try to visit when we could. But boy, it is nice to have them nearby. I just so feel so fortunate and lucky. It's been a long time coming. We've been waiting for this day. So I'm relishing every minute. We have some beaches nearby, and we have some granddaughters in Utah that love the beach, and they keep telling their mama, we want to go visit grandma and grandpa and see the beach. And I'm like, yes. Most of our beaches are not swimming beaches. They're just like looking at shell beaches and finding special rocks. So this is espresso, and I'm just base coating my watercolor paper. I was going to tell you, I forgot to tell you, when you do your watercolor paper, you're measuring it to a 4x4 size, but you can always cut it a little bigger, just a tiny little bigger, just so that you have a little extra elbow room when you glue it on your block. And I'm talking, just millimeters, just tiny, a little bit more than 4x4 if you want. It'll work even if you don't have that extra room, but that's something you can do. Little tip. Emilia is already 18 months. I can't believe that, Michelle. I haven't seen pictures. I'll have to look. That's so cool. You have a girl and a boy. That's so fun. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry. It does curl up like that a little bit, but it will go back down once it's dry. But yeah, I've been thinking about you guys. How are you all doing? Are you surviving the summer? I hope you're not too hot. I was talking to my daughter and we're about Utah, and they're going to do a baby shower. And I was thinking, maybe you could do it outside. And she's like, oh no, it is way too hot to do it outside. But, oh, okay, yeah, I get that. You can't do it outside. Everyone would be miserable. Okay, we want to make sure it's nice and dry before we transfer our pattern. Now we'll need some graphite paper, like a lighter graphite paper is nice because then you'll be able to see it better. A white graphite. Okay, let's see here. I have this white graphite paper that is wax free and it works really good. You just have to press hard when you use it because it doesn't show up as well because it's wax free. But it is nice because it doesn't leave all, lots of extra marks and stuff. Sometimes the graphite paper will do that. It will leave extra marks. Okay. We're almost there. It's almost dry. It's hot enough. You would think it would dry in a few seconds. I'll just make sure it dries good. And if you see any like open spots after you base coat it, you can always go back in and, fix those. I do see some little spotting there. Go back down. Okay. You have 10 grandchildren, Gloria? Oh, that is so neat. That is amazing. Is it hard to keep up with all of them? Yes, you are very blessed. And 8 of them are near you? Oh, you are very, very blessed. Yes, that is quite something when they can be close by. And Charmaine, she has 4 and they are all in England. I know, it's so sad. It is very sad when they're far away. Oh. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Gloria. We're all jealous. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna just check on this, make sure I know what side is right. I'd like to do it with like a little pin. I'm gonna use a pin to do this. Okay, that works that way. It's hard to tell which side. I'm gonna see what side's better. Doesn't seem to matter. They both work. Okay, I'm gonna use my tape because that way I don't nothing shifts on me later on. Don't need it to be shifting. No shifting. Okay, our blackberries are out in style. I'm just I've been so busy I haven't been able to do anything. I'm gonna bring up I want to go pick my blackberries and make some blackberry jam. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna bring my camera out a little bit. There we go. Alrighty. Okay. Let's get it straight on here. Just a little tape to secure that. And then some tape to secure this guy. And I think I want to cut it closer. Like just cut one edge close. Or even could go all the way around. That would make it even easier. Just right up against that edge. If you know me, I always do my homework on camera with you. So you can see it from start to finish. I think there's some really good perks about that because there's times when you're prepping for something and you might not quite understand, based on the pattern. You're like, what does that mean? I don't know. So that's why I do it with you. And I have to do it anyway. And you have to also. So I always like to do this on camera. Okay, just a little tape there, maybe a little more there. Okay, there. That will get me going. All right. So let's go ahead and put our white graphite paper under this. And like I said, I like to use just an ink ballpoint pen because that way I can see where I've been with it. And to do the outside edge here, I'm going to go ahead and use a straight edge to do that. This is like the quilt block area. Nice little line all the way around. Okay. And then we'll see what that looks like if it's transferring okay. All right. More line here. Okay. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. It just goes on pretty soft, right? So, but it works good. Okay, we'll keep going. Now, you can transfer the stitch lines if you want. You don't have to. You can, no, actually don't transfer them because we're going to be painting over that. So don't do that. Go ahead and put the main lines on of your piece. Yeah, you'll have to go and see the little Facebook thing that Aubrey put up. It was really funny, actually. It was so clever. I was like, "You're so clever." Go check it out. It's on my Facebook page and also my Instagram. Okay, I'm gonna do all the flowers and the leaves first. Our little grandson, he's learned how to go up to a socket and pull off the whole socket. So we have to be so careful with him. We have to watch. He has to be watched like 24/7, like all the time, because he is a clever little guy. Okay, I'm gonna just check, make sure everything's being transferred. Okay, yep, it's good. I've never seen a child do that. Just pull off the whole socket. It's crazy. My son, mind you, though, he ate Christmas lights. I remember telling my sister-in-law, "He ate a Christmas light," and she was like, "Are you kidding me?" Oh my goodness. Go ahead and put the lines in your leaves too. Some of the crazy things our kids do, right? They make for good stories later on. Okay. I did this block a little larger because I know some of our other quilt blocks are 3x3s. I just felt like there was so much going on in this design with the hummingbird. I just felt like if I went smaller, it would be kind of hard. So I ended up going with the 4x4 on this one. Okay, and now to our hummingbird. Like I said, the etched pieces for this design will be available, or they're available already on our website. And they're getting orders out every day. So if you want the etched piece and don't want to have to transfer, you can order those. But this design, this little line drawing and everything is free to you if you purchase the hummingbird, our new little ornament. It's called honeysuckle hummingbird. If I can say it. Okay. Let's see where I'm at. Oh, this line here. Yeah, fall is just right around the corner. We got to start getting ready with our Halloween stuff. I remember one year I did the Halloween blocks. Those were cool. I haven't released those ones yet in a kit form, so okay, I'm just gonna put a few little lines here. I don't know. We're gonna kind of paint that area actually. So let's see here. Did I get it all? Well, I think we're good. Okay. We are good. I'm just looking at your comments. Blackberry season. Michelle, do you guys have blackberries in your area? I'm just curious. Oh, yeah, the smoke is bad, isn't it, Charmaine? It's not as bad up where we're at right now, but the other areas in Washington, it's pretty bad. But it's coming. It's coming to our area. So, ooh, fun. Say hi to Jamie for me. Yes, Gloria. Red pin shows up really good too, huh? Michelle, you saw that? Yeah. The peacocks. Yeah, those are from one of our that's from our garden, our secret garden whimsy box. We just haven't really released those yet. Yeah, the red pin goes on the side of your hand. Yeah. Oh, Brenda, you couldn't sleep. Oh, that's no fun. I know, Charmaine. That's what I'm gonna do next is Halloween. I want to put it up. We I have to tell you, it was amazing. I'll have to tell you in a second what that was all about. But let's see. Michelle says there's blackberries at the end of August. If we get them before the birds, remember my grandmother taught me how to bake blackberry pies. Favorite memory. That's wonderful. Yeah, see, that's what grandmas do. They teach you things like that. That's cool. Okay, I'm gonna just pull this up gently. I'll have to get my line in there. I have a little chalk pencil. Get this line in here. Yeah, for Halloween, we went to Utah. Oh my word. I don't know. We went down some road somewhere, and these people decorated like nobody's business. I have never seen anything like it. It was amazing. This one house, and it was like a whole block of neighbors. I don't know if they were competing with each other or what, but it was something. It was like, are you guys professionals? You must be like working for movie sets or something. But this one house was all decorated like Harry Potter, and they even had the dragon, like they had the serpent type thing or snake, whatever that thing is. They had that thing there. They had like floating candles everywhere. It was incredible. I've never oh, maybe they work for Disneyland. Maybe they know how to do like that kind of stuff. It was pretty incredible. Okay, we're going to take our colony blue and a round brush, and we're going to go ahead and add some paint to the sides. We're going to do that part that is the quilt area, the quilted area. Oh, you lost a tennis match, Kathy. Oh, well, you've come to the right place. You can just sit down and relax. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so you just need a round brush, slightly wet it, just get a little bit wet. You're going to go ahead and load your brush like so. You could even use a filbert, like a small filbert if you wanted to. And we're going to try to get that damp, dry brushed look. We have some texture on our watercolor paper. And so all we have to do is just kind of lightly pull the paint down the piece. And I'm just filling in this boundary or this border, this blue border. Just going to fill that in. But I do want some of that texture showing through. So I'm not going to put too much pressure on my brush. I want it to just lightly go across the surface to try to pick up some of that texture and leave some of the base coat showing through. And Josiah's paint is just highly pigmented, so it's amazing. Sometimes you don't even have to do a second coat. Okay, see how that is? It just picked up some of that texture. It's so fun. When you get the hang of this, it really is fun. So just lightly pull your brush across your watercolor paper. If you're using the 140 pound cold press watercolor paper, you'll have the texture like this. And if you're not getting the texture, just really lighten up on your pressure and use less paint on your brush. Also, less water. You shouldn't have your brush like dripping with water because then that's just like lining. It's like putting it in solid, and you don't want to do that. So, less paint, less moisture. And it takes a little practice. Even me, I have to kind of think about it when I'm doing it. Don't put too much pressure down. And when you're going right up to that edge, your line, you can have a little more paint on your brush so you do kind of have more of a solid edge. Okay. I went a little bit into my brown there, but okay. I can always fix that. Let's go back in up here. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what you're looking for. Some open spots on the blue. So you see some of the brown underneath. Okay. If you're new here and you don't know what we're doing, I'm an artist. I typically use mixed media with my art. I like to use colored pencils with paint. That's really my thing I like to do. And here, I'm here on Thursdays, and we do different designs and have fun with a little project every Thursday. I'll show you some things that we've done in the past. So, was it last week? No, I can't remember. It was last week we did this fox. I'm still not quite done with it. I need to put my jewels on. So we did the fox, and then we've also done like some of the dogs from the dog book. These are actually etched pieces from a little watercolor book that we sell. So we've done those. We did another little special project. This was called Berry Blossoms. This is what it looks like. That was a fun one. It had glitter and jewels on it. Really fun. So mixed media, using both paint and color pencil on the same surface, and then getting the best of both worlds. And we teach step by step. Oh, well, you'll have to go back because all those videos are still up, Charmaine. You can go back and find the bulldog. He was a cute one. He has actually like my favorite, one of my favorites. I'll show him again. See if I can find him here. Where did I put Jewel? Oh, I put him down and now I can't find. Oh, there it is. Okay. This guy. He was so fun. I love that one. But yeah, the video's up. All these watercolor book uh, projects, the videos stay up. So, all right. Let's see here. We're going to go in with a different color. Now, in my other quilt blocks, I just put a little bit of like warm white with my blue. But because I was trying to match the palette to the Honeysuckle Hummingbird, it has aqua in it. So I'm going to use aqua as my highlight color. We'll just go ahead and do that right now. If you don't have aqua, you can just add a little white to your blue. So I'm going to put a highlight in the middle area of each side. And I always start out in the middle where it's brightest. I'm adding a little paint to my brush. There is a tiny little bit of water in my brush just to help it move, but it's not drippy for sure. And I'm going to take a little bit of that paint off on a paper towel so I have just a touch of paint in my brush. I'm going to start where I want that highlight to be brightest, and that would be right about here. And then I'm going to just pull the paint down that area and let it just fade as it comes down, because as you're pulling like that, the paint will, it just keeps coming off the brush, and then you have less and less paint on your brush. So pulling the color down, creating some of that texture that's being picked up by the watercolor paper. Okay, I'm going to turn it the other way, start back in the middle because I always start where it's brightest, and pull the other way. And you don't have to pull that paint all the way to the end. You really just want it bright here. It's opaque right in the middle, and then pull down and let it fade as it comes down your piece, like so. Okay, so it looks like that. The highlight's mostly in the middle there, and then it fades as it goes out the edges, the sides. You're welcome, Charmaine. Okay, little bit in the middle again. We'll pull it down. The middle or the brightest part of your highlight usually is always opaque. And then as it radiates out from there, it fades into the background. You want it to fade. Okay. And you doing a few different layers, like maybe 2, 3 layers does help with the brightness, and it also helps kind of even out what you're trying to do. Evens it out. Okay. Let's see here. It's a little wonky. I'm gonna fix my wonkiness. Okay. So it's okay if it's opaque right there and it's kind of filled in some of your texture, that's okay. But just make sure it fades as it comes down. And that's just by using less pressure on your brush, less moisture too. You don't want too much moisture. And then repeat it 2 or 3 times just so you can have it nice and opaque in the center there. That creates your highlights. Okay. All right. We're going to do the blues on the hummingbird first. So we'll go back to our colony blue and let's add some blue. And it's the same thing. We're going to use that same principle of using less water in your paint brush and then also taking off some of the paint on a paper towel before you go to your surface. Okay, so we're going to add some blue right here at the top of the head. And again, we want a little bit of texture if you can get it. Oops, we want the colony blue. And I'm going to bring it down slightly. Just go around the eye like that. Okay. And then bring it down to the neck. Light pressure. And then we're going to go across this top feather. So there's kind of like a feather at the top there. And you can even pull it this way. Try to pull some of that texture. Get some of that texture when you pull your stroke. Okay. So it's not like super even. It's got a little texture going on. Okay. Now let's bring some of that same blue down into this second section or lower section. And I'm just going to concentrate on like the front of that wing right there and then bring it around the corner and let it fade like so. So just, you don't need a whole bunch of blue there. We're just going to put it right in this area. I can pull my camera down so you can see it a little better, a little closer. I thought I just heard an eagle outside. You know how they have like this distinct chirping sound? It's very pretty. I think it's so, I love it. I love that sound. And I think I just heard one. Also, our neighbor contacted us this morning and let us know there's a cougar in the area. right behind us in the woods behind us. And it's like, oh, okay, we'll be watching. Okay, that's enough blue for that area. Now we're going to go down to the bottom feathers here and add some blue there. But I'm going to start out at the tip of the feather because that's where I want it to be the darkest or the bluest. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the feathers. Yeah, I just heard that sound. I don't know. Sounds like a eagle to me, like a baby eagle. Hmm. Maybe it's just a bird. Oh, do you guys hear that? I think that's just a bird, but it's very distinct. I've never heard that sound from birds. Okay, we're going to go up into between the sections. Oh, looks like a heart. I'm hearting you guys. Okay, so we're going to continue, same color, this is colony blue. We're just working around those feathers. I've turned my piece upside down. And we're doing several feathers along the bottom. We want to do 6. So I've done 4 so far. I need to do 2 more. And my last one. I don't know. I'm so confused. I need a bird expert. It sounds kind of like an eagle, but I'm not really sure. We have a lot of little bunnies in the yard this year. All right. Okay, so we got the blues in. And we need to do a little bit on the back tail feathers. So the back last 2 tail feathers, same kind of thing. Start out at the tip of the tail feather and then pull it up from there. I'm going to switch my brush. I pulled a bad brush out. Okay, this one's better. Okay, just pull it up from there. Try to get some of that nice texture going on. Like that. Okay. All right, the blue, the base of the blue is good. Merlin. Charmaine says she loves the app called Merlin. Is that something that listens to the bird and tells you what it is? That if that's what it is, that sounds really cool. I need that app. Okay, I'm going to use Turner's Yellow next. Same thing, load your brush, take some out on a paper towel, some of that color out on a paper towel. We are getting the base colors in first before we go in to do our color pencil. Okay, so Michelle says it's the best record over 25 birds in the morning right after 5 a.m. Huh, that's cool. Someone did some work on that. That's awesome. Okay, we're going to start out and do the centers of our flowers, like so. Just go, and I'm probably gonna need about, mm, 3 layers to get it nice and bright. Now this is basically the same palette that we're using that works with the Honeysuckle Hummingbird. So there's just, with the exception of just a few colors, this is basically the same. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put in the whole petal, all the yellow petals. There's like one right here, one right here. We'll go back in with more. Oops, I got way too much paint on my brush. We'll go back in and add some layers once we get this first layer done. This one has a yellow petal here. And there's one in the back. It's just kind of tucked underneath. And another one also tucked. And you'll notice that I leave a little space in between my yellow sections so that we can have, we're going to use that basically as our border for each element. We're going to use the background color as our border. So we'll make use of that. And you'll understand what I'm talking about in a second as we continue on with the design. Boy, my mouth is dry. I got to take a drink. Sorry, you guys. I got to take a drink. Huh. All right. So that was our first layer. You can see it's kind of transparent and dark. Okay, we'll see you later, Michelle. It's good to have you on. Michelle is one of our certified teachers, so if you're interested in taking a nice personal class, our certified teachers are the way to go. Okay. This is the second layer. I'm also just kind of lightly putting the paint on. Okay. We'll probably need about 3 layers. There's like a little point at the end of these petals. We're using acrylics. These are Joanne acrylics. And they're similar to a watercolor gouache in that you can mix water with them and make them like a watercolor and more transparent, or you can go in and use them opaquely. And they're so nice and rich, full of pigment. Artists love them, and I love my Joanne colors so much. I had a friend suggest that I try the Josanya, and I was a little hesitant to do that, but I finally took the plunge, and I'm so glad I did. Okay. Okay, so you're getting those little petals in. Next, we'll want to add some yellow to our bird. Let's just go ahead and add yellow to the beak, and you can do like a slight space in between the top section of the beak and the bottom. So we're going to try not to cover all the lines. You could even use a liner brush for this if you feel like it's too small. But I'm going to just leave a little space in between the top and the bottom beak, like so. You see that space? Okay, let's add some, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do 5 of these feathers on the wing, and we're going to leave a little space there too. So adding the paint, but also leaving a little dark space in between the different elements. So you see that little line right there? That's my little border. And I want to leave some of that. So it just enhances what we're doing, the design and everything. It's really fun to do that. So see how I kind of have a little bit of a border around the yellow. Now we're going to do one more feather. We got 4. Let's do a 5th one. You can just kind of do this. We'll blend it in with red for the rest of it. So add another layer. Use a light touch. Okay. There you go. Okay, and then we have a tail feather down here that's yellow, so let's work on that. So that's the next one in, is yellow. Again, I'm not using very much paint in my brush. I'm very much paint or water in my brush. It's very light. Okay. Oh, awesome, Lisa. You're welcome. And thank you, Michelle, for being on. Okay. We have also this area right in here in the middle of the body. Let's add some yellow there. So it's really kind of, let's do the brightest part right in the middle there. And then bring it up. Kind of goes about right to about where the neck would be. Always start in the middle where it would be brightest. Bring it up kind of where the neck is, right in that area. And then bring it down. We're also going to have kind of a reddish color down below, so you don't need to bring it down too far. About right there. And if you go out of the lines, you can always fix it with your espresso. That's the beauty of working on a dark surface, dark background. So we're blocking in the color, getting that wonderful Josonia down so we can start doing some pencil work. Hello, Valerie. You couldn't comment on the big TV. Oh. Well, that's why I'm kind of glad my face isn't there, because it would have been like 10 times as big as this. I don't really want my head right there. But it is kind of nice for, on a big TV, if you're painting, it's kind of nice to have it like really big. Okay. So we got that on. Let me see. Do I need to put any more on? Maybe just a little bit. It's pretty good though. Maybe that beak. Get a little bit more on that beak. Okay. All right. How about we switch over to our green? And we're going to do a little mix with our green. So let's mix pine green with Turner's yellow at a 1-to-1. We'll do our leaves and a little bit more on our hummingbird. One to one. So a dollop of Turner's yellow, a dollop of yellow green, dollop of each. So about the same amount of each. Could probably use a little more yellow there. And you're going to get this kind of medium looking green, or a leaf green. Great color. And we'll work on each of our leaves. So same thing, we kind of want to see some of that black showing through, or the background showing through. So use a light touch. Make sure you don't have too much paint on your brush. Make sure you don't have too much water in your brush. There's 4 leaves on this one. Okay. All right. We'll continue on and do all of the leaves this way. Try to get some of that texture. Oh, my chair is making a noise. It is squeaking. Every time I move. Goodness. I think I need a new chair. Okay, there's a fifth smaller leaf right down at the bottom. Don't forget to get that one in. I'm just getting the major green in, and then we'll go back and do some more layers, the same color. Okay. Okay. One more thing. Let's just kind of add a little bit at the bottom of the stem there. And we'll do the rest with like a liner brush because it's a little tough to do with a round brush. So let's go back in, add a second coat. Just pull that brush over very lightly. You don't want to cover all that textured goodness up. And I'm reloading between each leaf. All right, I'm running out of paint. I have to mix some more. So 1 to 1. Just stroke lightly. Okay. Okay, that's good. Now we don't have any green up in the leaf or the petals, but we do have a little bit of green on the bird, and it's just a touch. And it's right on the front area between, like right by the eyes, so it's right here. So go ahead and add a little bit of green there. Let it blend over the blue slightly. So you'll need a few coats on that too. Work around the eye. Okay. So Brenda says, I am too, watching on the TV. And Charmaine says, I don't know how to cast it on the TV. There is a way to do it, Charmaine, and I always have to ask because I don't know. But yeah, WD-40. Brenda's showing you how to do it. Yeah, there's a way you can cast it onto your TV, and it has something to do with the front area of your, like my husband always says, pull down the main screen on your phone, and then it's right there. There's like a little graphic that you push. Okay, I'm going to grab my liner brush because I'm going to put in the rest of the green. Since we're already here doing that, the green, I might as well get it done. Liner. There we go. Same green, just a liner brush, and same technique. Okay, so I'm going to pull the green down from each leaf. Like so. Ugh, I got paint on my finger. And you have these three little tendrils. You can put those into. Oops, I'm off screen there. There's three up here too. One. And there's three down here. All right. And then each stem can be pulled down like so. Okay. I'm going to go back and just make them a little more opaque. A little more. Okay. All right. Trying to think if I should put the highlights in right now. I should before we do our pencil work. Okay, so let's do that. Let's go ahead and add. You want to add a little bit of Aerolide. That's how I say it. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Maybe Aerolide or Aerolide. Aerolide. I don't know. So I'm going to put a little bit of that on my palette. It's a very nice bright yellow. And that same green that we've been using, I'm just going to add some to that. So a little bit of Aerolide yellow, Aerolide, however you want to say it. There. I want it nice and bright, so I guess is what I want is just a really nice bright green. So keep mixing until you get a nice bright green. Take off that paint on a paper towel, and then we'll go in and do some highlighting to each leaf. Do you see how I did that? This is just the damp dry brushing. It's the same technique we've been doing. You want to see some texture So try not to have too much paint on your brush. And you'll do this on each tip, each leaf tip. Okay. Okay, and you want a few different layers going on so you can get it really nice and bright, especially at the tip. You always want to start out where it's brightest, and that's right at the tip. You want that opaque. Then as it comes down, you want it to fade. Okay, so do that on each leaf. Start at the tip, pull it down, use light pressure. Light yellow mixed in with that mix that we created to do our leaves until we get a nice bright green. And we're just pulling down those strokes. I call this damp dry brushing because you don't have very much water in your brush, but you do want your brush to be damp. And then you want it to have a dry brush look. So damp dry brushing does the trick. It's amazing. Okay, a few little layers helps a lot. The tip of your leaf should be nice and bright, and then fade as it comes down into the leaf. You can add a few layers. It always brightens it up if you add another layer. And it's okay if it looks a little messy. Like it's not going to be super clean looking, or it's more of like mm, a folksy kind of vintage look. I just love it. A little folk art look. You did it, Charmaine. Yay. That's wonderful. Yay, yay. Yep, you can have, if you have like a TV in your studio or near where you paint, that's amazing. Really amazing. Okay, just a few layers really makes it nice. We will add some of that same brightness to our hummingbird. Don't have to go as bright, but we'll just put some right in here. Just a touch. Okay, we want to use that same color. We're going to go back into our stems and just add a little bit there. So kind of clarify and clean up those areas. And your little branches, you can just stroke along, bring some of that color down the tendrils and into the stems a little bit. And I'm just using my liner brush. Okay. All righty. That's fun. I'm loving it. Isn't it fun, you guys? Oh, so fun. Love, love, love. We can all be taught sometimes, huh, Charmaine? Now you can show off to your husband or someone that you know that. No, it's so cool. Okay, let's work on the red next. Let's do that. That would be our rose pink. There's a lot of color going on. We do have a nice little palette going on for this project, but it's because we have so many colors. Did you guys go check out the Hummingbird website I put online? I just had a reference to it, and it's pretty amazing. It shows you like their migration. I was I was impressed. I learned some things about hummingbirds I did not know. I actually did not know that hummingbirds migrated so much, so far. I didn't know that. But that's pretty amazing. And then the other thing I learned is that hummingbirds, when they sleep at night, this is wild. I didn't even know this. Hummingbirds, when they sleep at night, they go into like a trance and they cannot move when they're in this period of time that they're sleeping. And it is like their body just shuts down basically, except for breathing. They hang on to the branch and they go into this sort of like trance, and it doesn't sound like they can control it. They just go into this and they can't move. And so they're very vulnerable at night, sitting on this branch because a predator could come get them because they can't move. And then in the morning, they start moving again and they kind of shake it off and then they get moving. But that's what keeps them, I guess it keeps them alive. Their heart rate slows down a lot and it's what keeps them alive. During the day they have to constantly be eating because they're using so much energy. But at night they just totally go into this crazy zombie state. You only have the ruby throated, huh, Brenda? That's cool though. I know. It's always a good day, Cheryl, when the technology works better for you. Yeah, when it works for you. When it doesn't, it makes it a really bad day. Huh. Oh, you video? Oh, you should show. You should share that. You could share it in paint and pencil with us. People would love to see that. She videoed the hummingbirds. They're going crazy. Okay, let's do our reds. So we have rose pink, and we'll start up here on the head area, like so underneath the eye. I've got a little too much paint. You're going to go underneath that eye area, leave a little space between the red and the blue. So like that. You're just every time you come up to another element, so I'm working my way up to the beak, I'm going to leave a little space there. So a little dark space. And then bring it down, meet up with the yellow. And we're going to pull it down slightly into the yellow, ever so slightly. So if you have the hummingbird, the honeysuckle hummingbird, and you're using the colors that you're using on this hummingbird, most of them are the same on the honeysuckle bird. They just got a ton more orders out yesterday, more today. They're staying on top of it, which is good. Okay. So like so, see how I use kind of light pressure? I want some of that um, black to show, or the espresso to show through. And you can still do that even though you're adding several coats or several layers of paint. Okay, we're gonna bring our red into, let's start out with the tail feather. So it's the next feather over. Just bring that color up like so. Okay. And you're going to go up into the bottom area here. Leave a little space when you meet up with the wing. And we're going to overlap into the yellow too. So we'll bring it up into the yellow. So pretty. It's getting really cool. Oh, thank you, Brenda. She put it on her Facebook page. You can go check out her video of her hummingbirds. That's really neat. Do you have a lot of feeders in your yard? Okay, bring this down right here. I want that color to be fairly strong right in that area. Okay, and then we're going to bring some of it down into our yellow. So pull it down into the yellow a little bit, and then also into the blue. Like so. Rose pink. This is just a great color. Love, love, love it. Okay, like so. Okay. Okay, next we'll be using that same color. We're going to work on this kind of middle feather area right in here. So our last feathers, there's 2 feathers at the end right in this area. We want to add red to those. And again, this will also blend in and over our yellow a little bit. So I'm just kind of bringing my yellow, or bringing it over the yellow. Okay. And then you can carry that color over the top of that same section of feather. So like that. And we can go back and forth with our yellow, with our pencils too. We'll do a little more blending. Okay. There we go. Oops. All right. How's everyone doing? You have 7 feeders, Brenda? Oh my goodness, they like you. Do they bug you when your feeder's empty? They probably come and tap on your window. Knock, knock, Brenda. I've had hummingbirds do that with me before. They're like, your feeder's not full. You probably keep up with it way better than I do. Okay, so our next color, we're going to bring pink into the picture, purple and pink. Let's see here. Let's do our purple first. So that's amethyst. This color, love it. All right, amethyst. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is work on this upper feather. It's kind of like right in this area. So right in here. And I'm going to, I've got my round brush. Okay, you want to make sure you have your round brush. Take off the paint on your paper towel before you go to your piece. Probably still have way too much paint on. And you're going to pull that across like so. You're going to pull it and then let it just kind of fade as you come across the top there. If you're new to our channel, this is paint and pencil art. I call it innovative paint and pencil. I'm Erika Joanne from Erika Joanne Art, and I'm an art teacher. I teach you how to be successful with art because we give all kinds of great tips, and we have a wonderful community. So if you're looking for something like this, want to learn more about it, you can always join our free Facebook page. It's called Paint. A bunch of cars going by. It's called Paint and Pencil with Us. Boy, it's busy. Everyone's probably leaving work or something or going back to work. It's a wonderful community of people that love paint and color pencil. And we have that group page called Paint and Pencil with Us that you can go join. People share their work there. I'm going to put purple or the amethyst on these last tail feathers. Leave a little room between each feather and each element, just a little border. It's pretty natural to do that little border because you kind of run out of paint anyway. Okay, I'm going to put some more up here. Okay. And we have a group of teachers that teach. I teach. So we do lessons, art lessons, and And we really do our best to make art easy for you with etched pieces that already have the pattern etched on either the wood surface or the watercolor paper surface, which makes it nice because you don't have to like guess where does that go. It's already there for you. Can get it's convenient too because you can just get started. But I've been like talking to my daughter recently, and we've been talking about like how can we bring in people that would like to learn how to do this. It's step by step art, and maybe you've never done this before. So this is you need to a starter set or something. So we're thinking about making some starter sets for those that are just getting into this. So that's coming down the road. All right, our next color we're going to use is we're going to bring in some pink. So we're going to use our brilliant magenta, but we do need to mix this color with some titanium white. So I'm going to put a little bit of brilliant magenta on my palette and some titanium white. Mix those two together, and we'll get kind of a lighter, more opaque pink going on. The whites. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna start. Let's see. Let's do a 1-to-1. Yeah, 1-to-1 mix. And you want to take that color off on a paper towel. We're going to do the last 3 tail feathers here. And if it looks too much like my amethyst, I might end up having to put more pink in it. It's okay. I like that magenta pink. So I'm going to add a little more pink to mine. So it would probably be more like instead of a 1-to-1 mix, it would be a 2-to-1. So 2 parts brilliant magenta, 1 part warm or 1 part titanium white. Really want it to be, I want it to look different than my amethyst. That's much better. That's what I'm looking for. So just pull those pink strokes up. Try to leave a little space in between all these little feathers. But yeah, we were thinking a starter set might be good to help those that don't know what we're doing. So they can get started and not be so intimidated by it. It really isn't. I mean, when you learn the steps, it's not hard, but because it's step by step art, everything we do is step by step. And once you get you understand the techniques and everything, it's really very, very awesome. Very fun. Okay, we're going to use the same pink on our flowers. I'm going to let that dry a little bit before I come back and add another layer. But let's go ahead and add this pink to our flower petals that are remaining. Just got a few left here. Okay, so it's just the 3 flower petals that are left. And we'll do several layers so that will really bring out that pink color. Go back up here. I really want it to be pink. So we have a pink and we have a purple. The colors are starting to come out. They're beautiful. Okay, so I'm leaving a little bit area here and there so I can see the background. I like that. Kind of shows some texture. Three coats seems to do the trick. Alrighty. We got our main colors in there. That's good. If you're with me this far, congratulations. We're getting to the point where we're going to do color pencils here soon. Okay. Fun. So Brenda says she doesn't put her feeders out until like April 1st and they stare in the front door. So Cheryl says a starter set is such a great idea. Yeah, this is just like brainstorming. We're thinking we do get new people and you don't want them to be discouraged like right on the get-go. So we really want to help them feel like this is something they can actually do. And you guys all know this is something you can do, right? It's you just learn a few techniques and you're off and running. So yeah, that's what we're thinking. If we had maybe like 5 or 6 sets where it includes the pattern, the paint, the pencils, the brushes, everything they need, and their surface, and make it easy for them to get started, and then also do make sure those designs are suited for them. So maybe a little simpler design that paints up quickly is what we're thinking. So be watching for that. Hey, Kathy, she says, I've been trying to get all my sisters to do paint and pencil, but they are very intimidating. To intimidate a starter set would be perfect for them. Yes, yeah, my daughter, she was the one that you can thank my daughter because she's the one that was like, Mom, I mean, she sees things through a different lens than I do sometimes. I just in my groove, and she was seeing things like, you need to have this because it would help other people that are intimidated. Yeah. Because I mean, like I help you guys take your art to another level. That's what I try to do, but it's done in very simple ways. And anyway, that's why I love using the paint color pencils because it's so fun. It's it's really not as intimidating as it might look. Once you get into it and your heart is open. You have to have your heart open. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Kathy. I think we need to go in this direction. So, okay. All right. Well, we got this done. I'm trying to think if we need to do any more highlighting before we move into our color pencils. I think we'll save, yes. Yep. I think we'll save the highlighting for the end and we will just get right into our color pencils. You can put your paint aside. And we have, let me find my instructions. We have 5 different pencils we're using today. We're using black, grass green, light umber, non-photo blue, and pale vermilion. And these are the same pencils that you use for the Honeysuckle Hummingbird. So just really wanted to make this easy for you guys to do both projects and having the same palette. There's just a little exception. I think there's 1 or 2 colors that might be a little different, but really tried to make it so similar. Okay, we're going to start out with our, let's see, how about we start out with our green pencil. And we'll work on the green areas. Make sure everything's nice and dry before you pull in your green. Okay, I'm just going to put a touch, and you're going to notice we don't use as much pencil as we do with some of the other projects we do. This is just a tint of color. So you're lightly tinting. And I'm going in with light pressure. This is like medium pressure. And going into my light pressure. So medium pressure where you want it to be brightest, and then light pressure after that to blend it in to the lighter green area. A little bit at the bottom, just a little tint. Do you see that? It's a touch. Okay. So on each leaf, at the base of each leaf, put a little tint, medium and light pressure. When you work with little circles going over each other, blending as you go. The blending can work much better if you if you blend over using the several different layers. So you see how I go back and add a little bit more. Just doing another layer can really help. But we're concentrating that color at the base of each leaf. And you'll notice with the Prismacolor pencils, they are so soft and so blendable. They're great. They work wonderfully over the Josanya paints. My favorite combination. Okay, see how that just went so quickly? Just a little bit of a tint of color over each of those leaves. And then we could put a little bit on our hummingbird too, just at the base here. A tint there. And that's good for your grass green pencil. Okay, I want to make sure this is this like nice and focused? I can't really tell. I hope it is. I'm going to make sure it's focused. Okay. Okay, I think it is. I'm hoping it is. All right, now we'll go in with our blue pencil, and it's same thing. We're just adding a tint of color with this blue. We're going to put it down near the tip of our feathers here, our blue feathers. Isn't that cool? You can do that. A little more pressure down at the tip of the feather, and then lighten up your pressure as you move up the feather. Let it blend into the background. Because we're using it over paints that don't have sealer in it. The paints that we use, the Josanya colors, dry to a matte finish. And they are very nice to use color pencils over because that matte quality just picks up the pencils so nicely. So little highlights at the tips of our feathers there. Okay. So let's do that on our ends of our tail feathers too, the blue ones. So starting out at the tail feather, a little bit there, and here. It's such a pretty color. Okay, Okay, you just bring it up, kind of, let it fade as it comes up the tail feather. And then we have this kind of area right here where we put the colony blue, just at the very top. Let's put some there along the top edge. A little bit of a highlight there. And then bring it around to the base of the neck. And you don't need to go up very far with that. Just like so. In fact, I'm going to erase that just a little bit. Get my eraser. Oh, good. I'm glad it's focused. Good. Okay. So I went up a little high right there. So I'm going to take my eraser and fade that right there. Okay. But I do want to blend these two areas right here. So I'm going to start in the middle, right where the green meets the blue. I'm going to start in the middle. That's going to be my brightest area. And then I'll just kind of go back and forth and blend those together. Doesn't that look nice? It bridges the gap between the two colors. Okay. And if you want, you can even go and brighten up the highlights on the edge of the quilt there, just right in the middle. Gonna brighten that up. Always start in the middle or wherever you want it to be brightest. That's where you always start, either with paint or pencils. Okay, just a little back and forth motion on each side of the block. All right, so pretty. Okay, we can put that pencil aside. Let's grab our pale vermilion pencil next. We'll do some of the same type of thing. We're going to be highlighting a little bit with our pencil and shading. So a little bit of both. But let's start out at the base of our yellow petals and put some shading right in there, like so. The base of your yellow petals. And then you can also put a little bit at the base of our pink petals, just a slight bit there just to highlight it and add a tint of red. All right. Have any of you ever come across a cougar in your path? I'm talking about animal cougar. Because we just heard that we have a cougar in the neighborhood. So I'm just thinking, okay, what if I run into one? What do I do? Do I just act big and scream and yell? Okay, let's work on, let's work on our beak. Put some at the base of our beak there. And I'm working on the bottom area of the beak. And I'll add just a touch on the top area of the beak, but not very much there. So just mostly on the bottom, a little bit on the top. Never, huh, Brenda? Yeah, we've had a few cougars in our neighborhood, and I'm always thinking, what would I do? They're kind of scary. I've like listened to some scary stories about cougars attacking people. This one was just amazing. The woman even survived. And it was because a friend was there to help. And this friend she just kept on and fighting for her friend. And she finally was able to scare away the cougar. But man, scary stuff. Okay, in this area, the pencil is more like a highlight to the red. We're going to put it right there in the throat area and then bring it down into the yellow. And we're going to slightly go into the yellow so we can blend those two colors together more. This is why I said you get the best of both worlds, you guys. Sometimes when you think, oh, the blend, how am I going to blend those two colors together? Guess what? Look at that. It's amazing. Isn't that beautiful? And it just was our color pencil over those two colors and blend them together. It's so great. So, Charmaine, you said you had one walk up in the daytime to your neighbors. Oh my gosh. So you don't run. Okay, right. Because then you become prey, right? If you run. And then you make sure you are making noise and back away. So you back away, you don't run. Good to know. Cheryl says, definitely do not run, make all kinds of noise and back away slowly. Okay. I'm going to tell my family all that. Oh. It explains why we heard a coyote the other night. Um, if there's a cougar in the neighborhood, that kind of explains why that coyote was doing what it was doing. It was barking, and I've never heard a coyote bark. It was barking and howling. And I read up on it, and it said that a coyote, because most of the time coyotes, do the yelping noise. A coyote will bark when there's danger. So could be that coyote saw the cougar. Okay, we're going to go in this area here, and our brightest area is going to be right in this middle area here. So we're going to start there. That's where we're going to use a lot of pressure to get that down. And then we're going to bring it up, and we're going to come up into the yellow this way. Okay, just slightly bridge the gap between the yellow and the red and soften it. See how it blended? Okay. And then you're going to bring the color down slightly into the tail feathers, like so. Blend it down into the blue a little bit and into the yellow. Definitely into the yellow. Okay. Into the red. And then you can leave the purple. We'll do another color over that. Okay, let's go up to this area of this wing feather here, and we'll blend those two colors together. You want to see some of that yellow still, so you don't want to cover all of your yellow, but you can definitely blend those two colors together like so. All right. So fun, isn't that great? Great little tip. And then make sure you got some good part of that pale vermilion on the bottom part of the beak. Alrighty. Okay, our next color So we did the green, the blue. Our next color is our light umber. So we'll be toning down a few things, getting some of those shadows in, and then we'll reinforce that with the black after we're done with our light umber. Okay. So make sure you have a nice sharp pencil. All right. Let's start up at the top and let's work on our beak first. The flowers, we don't really need to do anything until we bring in our black pencil. So we're pretty much done until we get the black pencil on. So with the beak, let's put a little shading down on the bottom. We're going to just kind of reinforce this area with a little bit of shading, tone it down a little bit. So at the base of the bottom section of the beak, okay, right in that area. And then a little bit on top, but not much. That's pretty much, we're just doing the base of the bottom. And then if you need to, because I'm kicking up some pencil crumbs, you can just wipe that away with your duster brush. Okay, and then down here in this red area, right below the eye, we'll put a little bit of shading right in there with our light umber, just to tone it down. Then follow the eye around and right in this area here, let's tone it down. Okay. Okay, we don't really have to do much here. We're going to lighten this up with some highlights of paint in a bit. But let's move down to our purple tail feathers. I'm going to put some shading at the base of those. Okay. A shadow there and a shadow there. And then we don't really need to do any more on the tail feathers with the pencil. We'll move over here and we're going to do some shading underneath this middle section of feathers. So follow the contour of those feathers and just add some shading in between each feather, bringing it down over the blue, slightly over the blue. And then also moving into our pink feathers, shading there, slightly over your pink. Okay. Okay, and then a little shading right on the bottom area of the purple feather. So just follow that purple feather on the bottom there. Bring it across there. And I'm using my medium and my light values to do that, or medium and light pressure. That's another way to say it. Right along here. Okay, we are developing the design. We're bringing in more depth and contrast. It's awesome. Okay, a little bit more on the blue. Now we're going to put just a touch, and I'm using my lightest pressure. It's a feather touch. Just toning it down slightly. Okay. All right. We've got a lot of good stuff going on with our brown. Trying to think, do we need to do any more? Let's put a little bit at the base of our leaves. Just a touch. This is again light umber. And I use the Prismacolor Premier. They're a wax-based pencil. It's perfect matchup with the Josanya paints. Yeah, Charmaine, I know. Isn't it so cool? These little tricks are so, yeah, they're amazing. The blending, it looks so cool. Yep. And it's easy. It's just your pencil. Okay, so that's good for our light umber pencil. We'll move into our black pencil next. Make sure it's nice and sharp. It's coming along. It's so cute. We'll do the eye here soon so it doesn't look so zombie-ish. We got a zombie hummingbird right now. Okay. Fun, fun, fun. All right, so black pencil. Now, you guys, if you're falling behind, I kind of have to go at a snappy pace here. I'm sorry for that. But just to let you know, these videos will stay up on YouTube for you to come back and rewatch. Okay, so if you need to go back at a slower pace, you can always go back and rewatch the video. I do have to work snappy, so I apologize. Okay, here we go. Black pencil. We're going to go up and just do a little line around the center of our flowers. Get that line in there. And it will clean, your black is going to clean everything up. It's wonderful. Now we're going to put a little line, like just, it's going to be just a hint of a line on some of your petals. Okay, just a hint here and there. Like almost like little stitches. And if you need to, you can clean up between the petals. Okay. Now let's put a nice little line down the center of our beak and at the base. Okay, I'm going to put a little shading right in here. So a repeat of my shading. I'm using the black pencil, which it just cuts through all the layers. Okay. I'm going to bring this line up a little farther so it separates these two feathers here. Down like so. So slightly around your feathers, you can go ahead and line with the black. It really cleans up in between those feathers. I have a few of you, and I'm so grateful that some of you reach out and let me know. But I have a few of you that say that using the color pencil has made it so that you can continue painting, because you might have had an illness or an injury and you weren't able to continue painting and doing your line work, but with the pencils you are. So I'm just so tickled pink to know that you're still enjoying your craft, and I love to hear your feedback about that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for reaching out and letting us know. It does feel good to know that the work that we do every day is making someone's life a little brighter, helps us carry on. Okay, so I did that. We could do a little bit of shading. Let's add a little bit of shading underneath And it's just a touch, a feather touch right in between these upper feathers. Okay, now let's go ahead and add that line right in between the body and those feathers here. I just put a line right there and then bringing it down like so, slightly in between and around our feathers. How many of you going to OKC? I mean, has it started yet? What day is it? It's the 6th. When does OKC start? Is it like the 8th? Or maybe it's already started. Let's see. What's today? Thursday. It's probably going already. So, any of you at OKC right now? I'm going to line my vein lines of my leaves there. A nice line in there. Each green leaf. Okay. Okay, make sure that we just put a little shading down at the bottom of our stem here that meets up with the bottom of the piece. And then any cleanup that you want to do with your black, this is a good time to get it done. Okay. All right, I'm going to do a little more shading right in this purple area, right there, and a little bit on this one too. So okay, we are good with our black. We just got to go in with a little more paint and we'll be done for today. You can see my block is dry, but this would be really cute on a block. And I've seen some of you take the quilt block pieces and put them in frames. I've so many different options. So I would love to see what you guys do with yours. Please share. Okay. So now that we got our pencil done, we do need to set our pencils before we move on and put paint on it. I'm going to use a fast drying glaze medium that Joanne creates. Fast drying. It is a light sealer and it can be used to seal your pencils and your paint. And I always like to use it, especially, this is so important. Oh yeah, don't forget the stitchings. Thank you. It's so important to seal your piece before you add any varnish, especially with the pencils. So let's go in and do our stitching. Oh, I'm so glad one of you, who said that? Don't forget Valerie. Thank you, Valerie. So let's go ahead and put our stitching in. And it's basically just, you can just freehand it. It's not very hard to do. You're just going to put a line like that. And you're going to do a little space and then put another line. And each line can be different heights. You can go all the way to the end if you want, or it could be short. And some can be closer together and some can be farther apart. Just enjoy making those lines around your piece. These are your stitch lines, like so. Okay, so do that all the way around. Some are shorter, some are longer, some are farther apart. If you're in our VIP group, we do have the Halloween quilt blocks up. Their videos, and you get the line drawing with those too. So just to remind you, if you are a VIP, there's lots there in that group. Okay. And just keep going all the way around. I'm going to put a little line between my flower. There we go. Okay, so we're officially making it a quilt block with those little stitches. Okay, so now we want to put our fast drying glaze medium on to set everything. It's really important step for setting your pencils. Make sure and shake it. Shake it. Don't be afraid to shake it. Shake it, shake it. Okay, and then you want a good little puddle of it. I use my medium dishes. I just love these little dishes. They are, soy sauce dishes, but for me, they are mediums dishes. Or my shot glasses are actually mediums dishes. Okay, you use a dry brush. Make sure your brush is dry, it does not have any water in it. That's really, really important. Don't use any water. Hold your brush at the other end so you're not using very much pressure on your brush. And then just lay your fast drying glaze medium across your piece like so. Work from top to bottom and don't overwork it. So Charlene says, did you do new Halloween ones? No, I didn't. These were the ones that we did a few years ago it was Facebook Live. And we ended up, taking them all down because Facebook was deleting everything. But it just went into our VIP group, and that's where they are. Yep. Okay, that's all you need is just a nice light coat of your fast drying glaze medium, which is a light sealer. It is a medium by Sonja. It's great. You can find it on our website. You can find it on their website. It works really good as a light sealer to seal your colored pencils and your paint. It's important to seal the paint too. Yeah. I can't remember how many I did. I want to say like 10. There's a lot of them there. I can't remember. Let me go look. Let's see here. Website. If you're a VIP that hasn't been on for a while, go check it out. You might find something you want to do for Halloween. 9. Okay, Valerie says there's 9. Thank you, Valerie. Yeah, I absolutely loved doing those Halloween ones. They were so fun. I did a skeleton. I'll tell you all the ones I got done. I did a ghost, a cat, a gnome, a Frankenstein. But I think my favorite is a skeleton. I did a moon with an owl. The mummy is pretty cute. I have to say, a crow and a witch's shoe. Yep. They're so fun. And those two, you could also zoom up and make them bigger. In fact, I might do that with some of those because they're so cute. Okay. All right. It's about dry, almost dry. I'm going to go in and add a few little highlights, and then we'll be done for today. I don't think I'm gonna glue this on for you today just because of time, but you can always go through some of my other videos in the end. Just peruse through my videos. You'll find one somewhere that shows me gluing. Okay. Oh, you did them, and they're all up for Halloween and stacked together. That's so cool, Cheryl. Thank you for telling me that. You should post a picture when you get them out. I know we need a new set of Halloween ones. Yeah. Okay, I think it's about dry. We're gonna just add some highlights here. Let's see, what color do we want to start out with? Okay, where am I? There we go. Let's do our yellow first. So we're gonna grab some of that Arylide yellow or Arylide yellow. I don't know if I'm saying it right. You're stay up in your studio all year round, Valerie. You guys are amazing. I feel so blessed because of you. I do. Okay, let's take now the Arylide yellow is really, really bright. Like it is a yellow, sunshine yellow bright. And I do want to tone that just a little bit. So I'm going to add some titanium white to that and see what I got. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that's what I want. So a 1-to-1, no, let's say 2-to-1. 2 parts titanium white, 1 part Arylide yellow. We're going to do our yellows. You really, because we're doing this really bright color, you don't want very much paint on your brush. Okay. You want to start out with hardly any paint in your brush. And you're just focusing on the tips of the yellow petals. A tiny bit of yellow on your brush. You can work around the middle lines on those petals. See, that's what I'm looking at. Something like that. It's just very little. You don't need to put very much. Start at the tip and pull it up into the petal. Okay, like so. You don't need a whole lot. I don't even think I need a second coat. Sometimes I do, but okay. And we're going to put a nice big rhinestone over these, so in the middle, so you don't have to do a lot there. Okay, we'll use the same yellow and let's add it to our bird. Let's start out with our feathers. So our yellow feathers, you just want a little bit on the tip of those feathers. I almost feel like I need more Turner's yellow in that. So I'm going to grab a little bit of my Turner's yellow just to tone it down a little bit. I don't want it so bright. So just to add a touch of Turner's yellow to your mix. Okay. Hi guys, how are you? We're getting the hummingbird done here. You want to see it? We're on the finishing touches. So did you guys get the samples out to those yet?
We haven't done that yet.
Okay. Is there a question?
We were gonna have you print out kit insides, but
Okay.
Not done yet.
Yeah, almost there, but not quite there. So you can pull out the samples and work on those together. Okay, I'm just adding some brightness to the tips here. Of my yellow, just like the first 3 yellow feathers. Okay, so just the first 3. And then I forgot about the beak, but on the top part of the beak, let's just pull a highlight down the beak like so. I grabbed my bad brush again. I'm sorry, you guys. I gotta go get my other round brush. It's better. That's like my base coating brush. Okay. Okay, so we'll do a little bit on this yellow tail feather too. Just go to the tip of the feather, pull up a little bit of paint there. There, just to brighten it. So Valerie says, my studio is a building on my property that is copper tin with green shutters and a green I think you say it cupola on top. So it looks like a pumpkin. What? I love it. You have to send a photo. We have to see it. Oh my gosh, that sounds so fun. Yeah, go to the Paint Pencil with Us group page and put it on there on Facebook. It would be so fun to see that. Oh, I want to paint in your pumpkin studio. That is just delightful. Delightful. Okay, I'm going to take some of my Turner's yellow. We're going to just put a little bit more in here and lengthen out this area right here. So this is just Turner's yellow, you guys. And I'm just pulling up that highlight into the red a little more so it's up higher. And then we'll do some dotting. So pull it down a little bit. And it is brightest right in the center. Okay. Then we'll add some fun dots in there. And the rhinestones can go in there too on the chest. Okay. All right, I think we are good with our yellow. We could probably just put a little bit of a highlight on this lower beak with just Turner's yellow. Just a touch there. Okay. I'm going to brighten up my blue, so a little bit of aqua with titanium white, 1-to-1. Let's do 2-to-1 actually. Add a little more, 2-to-1, 2 parts titanium white, 1 part aqua. And we're going to add a little more of a highlight up on the top of his head. And a little bit on this upper wing feather, touch there. A little bit on the tips. I should go the other way. It's so much better to pull it towards yourself. And I really just want to get the tips. We already did highlight these with the pencil, so I just want to have a touch there on the tip. So you don't need a lot. Okay, and then a little bit on our blue tail feathers. Okay. All righty. Purple. Let's do a touch of purple and titanium white. So 1-to-1 for that. Purple feather. When it does that, I have too much water in my brush. So can kind of wipe some of it off. That's what's nice about having a barrier coat is you can kind of wipe things off if you need to. And you're not going to disturb the work you've already done. All that hard work, you're not going to disturb it. Okay. Also, we have a little bit on our purple tail feathers, so just a touch there. All right, we're almost there. We got to get the pink done and a little bit more on our green leaves. So let's mix a little bit of our Arlide with the pine green. We had made a bright one before, but I really kind of want to tone down. I'm talking to myself, you guys. Sorry. Let's do this. Let's do pine green with Turner's yellow. So you have a toned green. Pine green, Turner's yellow. And you want more of the Turner's yellow than you want pine green. So there's my Turner's yellow. So 2-to-1, Turner's yellow, pine green. More Turner's yellow. Okay. And I'm just kind of adding it to the tip of my green leaves. Bringing a little more yellow into the mix. This Turner's yellow. And then we'll do our pink and a few dots. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, pink, brilliant magenta, and some warm white. You're going to create a lighter pink than you did before. So you're going to have a little more of the titanium. You want it to be lighter than what you have on here. So see how that's a little bit lighter. I used a little more titanium in my brilliant magenta. Just a touch at the tip of your pink. Okay. Trying to think if there's anything else they could do. I think we're pretty good. Maybe, maybe a little more Turner gel on this. Okay. All right, let's line that eye. I'm going to use my liner brush, and I'm going to add a little bit of my aqua to my titanium white. So it's a 2-part titanium white, 1-part aqua. You want a light, light blue. We're going to line around that eye. Got a nice light blue. Okay. You just put it in there, and then if we have to fix it later, we can fix it later. So you want to get it in there. You're kind of getting this, eye shape formed with the line work. Bring it out to the beak. Have it meet up at the beak. And the eye, yeah, you want it a nice like almond shape at the top of the eye. That helps a lot. Okay. Okay, and one more thing I want to do is see where this comes to a point. I'm going to make that a little rounder at the back of the eye. So it will end up looking like kind of like a teardrop in the eye. Just a little rounder right there. Now you can always take your black pencil. It's kind of funky right here. So I'm going to take my black pencil and clean things up. And I'm just going to use my titanium white to put a little dot in the eye, a little highlight dot. You can do that with your liner brush. Just right in that area. And then we'll put the lighter yellow dots down the front. So we need our stylus. A good stylus. We're going to put our dots on our leaves too. Oh, Charmaine. I miss painting with you too. You guys are all making me cry. Okay, I'm missing some. Okay, Let me read here. The inside is painted a light orange, like the inside of a pumpkin. I love Halloween. Valerie, you are just. This is amazing. I have to see the inside now. Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. How fun is that? We all need a pumpkin studio on our property. Oh, I know. Well, hey, you're talking to everyone that we all have times in our lives we have messy studios. I mean, that's just how things are. I was talking to my son-in-law, was embarrassed about his house or something because there was a messy room, but it wasn't even really that messy. Anyway, I was like, hey, you know what? Everyone has a room that is messy. We just can't do it all, unless, I mean, maybe you're the 1% that doesn't have a messy house or a messy room in your house. Count yourself special because that is pretty amazing feat to do that. But most everyone has a room in their house that's messy or a room in their studio that's messy. It's just normal, right? We all have we all have to deal with that sometimes. Okay, so see how my eye is like coming down a little bit? Almost looks like my bird is angry. He's not angry. So I'm gonna just take my black pencil and thin out the front there and watch how that changes it. Does it look angry anymore? It doesn't. And also, you can kind of break up this blue area with your black pencil, just kind of like add a little black here and there so it doesn't look so stark, you know? So just kind of break it up a little bit with going over the blue a little bit. See how that just changes things up and makes them better. Okay, where was I? We're doing dots. So we're going to do some lighter dots on the front here, kind of down this front area. And then when you go to put your rhinestones on, I recommend you put some heavier, like just bigger rhinestones in these flowers. You know, you could go small if you want, but it's a perfect time to do a big rhinestone. And I don't do a lot of big rhinestones. I'll try and glue one on before I get off, but it's creative dust. Yeah, it's pixie dust. We all have pixie dust in our studio. Okay, so I'm going to take the aerolite yellow and my titanium white, and I want to get a really, really, really light yellow going on. Okay, so I'm going to put a lot more titanium white in this mix. Mhm. Okay, so let's see. Let me pull this around so we can see this better here. Okay, so my aerolite yellow is right here. Put a little bit. I don't need a lot. Okay, and I want more of my titanium white because I really want a light yellow. Mix that together, and what do you get? A nice light yellow. Isn't that a fun yellow? It's like a lemon yellow. It's so pretty. Okay. Okay, I'm going to start out fresh. It's nice to just put a little bit of flow medium in your, where's my flow medium? Okay, found it. A little bit of flow medium. That way I don't have peaks. I'm just throwing a few droplets in there. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the dots in the front. And you can have some larger dots. Go ahead and start like out in the middle area. And some of them can be connected to each other. Some can be separate. You just have fun with it. You put smaller dots in between. So see how I'm just kind of randomly adding these dots. And then you can add rhinestones over those too. And I did put a few in mine. Okay. Good enough. Right, now I'm going to take that same color and I'm going to add 3 dots, a large dot, not really large, it's kind of small, small, medium. It's like kind of like this size and then medium and then really small. Okay, and you've got 3 different areas to do that on. And if you do the cascading where you just do dot, 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 it's going to naturally cascade down to a smaller dot. Okay, let's do this one. I don't want to smear anything. Dot, 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 dot. Okay. We get those on there. Now we're going to go back in with our titanium white and we'll add a few dots inside our chest, and they're going to be random too. So they're just going to be here and there in between. So you can like make them touch each other. It's okay. And then let's put a few of these white dots on our leaves too. So you don't have to do them all, but just here and there. I think I'll do that one white and that one white. So just a few random white dots there. Okay, and then when all this is dry, we'll put the rhinestones on. It will just help bring everything together. I'm going to dry this really quick because knowing me, I will smear something. So I'm going to dry it. Whew. Valerie says hers is more like creative debris. Lemon custard, yeah. It's like lemon custard. That color. All right. At least we'll get them somewhat dry. Okay, that's good enough. All right. So I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to glue them on right now because I'll just show you what you could do. Like this size right there. Like that works okay. I like having a big one once in a while. A big rhinestone. There. Ah. And then maybe one, let's see here. One right here. This is a little smaller one. But you can have fun with it in placing your rhinestones, figuring out where you want them. I think that makes a big difference. And then when you put some in here, it does make a big difference too. It kind of breaks it up. So I want to make sure it's dry. I don't know if it is, but I'll just kind of throw in a few of them so you can see. Adding a few rhinestones in there. Oh, they're stuck to me. I could have put more white on the top of the beak. I've kind of forgot about that. So maybe I'll do that really quick. A little bit of titanium on the beak. That helps a little bit. Anyway, it's so fun. I could just stay here for another hour and paint with you. But I better not. I'm going to put a little more white right here. All right. Well, you guys, I hope you had fun today. I sure did. It was just like a happy reunion to be with you guys again. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me. I better get off, get back to work. Having fun playing. You guys have a wonderful afternoon, you guys, and enjoy your weekend too. And I will be back on next week. Next Thursday, we're going to do another dog. We have 2 dogs left to do. So one more after that. But we have, let me just tell you the dates really quick. So I'll do a dog page on the 13th, and then the 20th, there'll be no live. 27th is iffy. I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to be on or not. If I can, I will be there. But if it doesn't work out, I might not be there on the 27th. So the last 2 weeks of the month are most likely a no go. And it all depends on when and when our daughter has her baby too. So there's like some time there. So I will be watching for my emails, and I will be letting you know what's going on through the emails. So I'll catch you up there. But even if I'm traveling, I will be on sometime in September. So I will catch you later. It's been a lovely time. I do need to pick a winner really quick. We need a winner of an e-pattern. Please email me the e-pattern choice that you want. Sorry, just barely remembered. Okay, we need a winner. You guys all been commenting so good. Okay, Charmaine, it's your turn. Congratulations, Charmaine. Go ahead and email me your favorite choice of an e-pattern, and I will email it right back to you. Okay. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful time over the weekend and start getting out your Halloween goodies. I mean, gosh. And I'd be dreaming about a pumpkin studio. So amazing. Oh, so fun to spend time with you guys. I will talk to you soon. Toodaloo.